Aloha, y'all. It is Tuesday, September 22nd. It is officially Libra season. Happy fall equinox in the northern hemisphere. It's the spring equinox in the southern hemisphere. Having been in Australia myself, I know personally how different these worlds can be. But we're here. We're in Libra season. The sun is in Libra, and I think the moon is in Sagittarius. Let me double check really quick. Yep. So today in the Mayan dream spell situation, we've got it's a third eye day. It's red galactic Earth guided by birth. So the ajna, which is ironic, the gene key I was just reading with my fiance is talking about getting out of the head, going into the solar plexus. We're all evolving that way, but for the moment, we are. Where is the ajna? Try to find this card. Where you at? Here it is. Today's ajna day, so you're going to be doing meditations, be tapping into your third eye, clearing it, getting wisdom essentially beyond information. Let's go ahead and see what we can get on this Libra season initiation day, the fall/spring, depending on your hemisphere, equinox. But is Libra season the balance of the scales? Libra's ruled by Venus, and with the sun in Libra and the moon in Sagittarius, we might be very emotionally passionate about our ideals and truths, right? The moon in Sag is, the south node right now is in Sagittarius too. So we might be coming up with a lot of kind of uncomfortable karma and situations about truth, our authenticity, our journey, all that kind of stuff. Exotic information, philosophies, spiritual truths. That's where our emotions are at right now. And we're going into a place of mediation with Mercury in Libra as well as the Sun now. It's about how do we balance our truth with other truths. Like, yes, you have a perspective, but I have a perspective too. And yes, you're important, but so am I. And what you mean doesn't matter, and neither does what I believe or mean, right? So it's this kind of both and simultaneity, the scales of Libra. What can we get for this first day in Libra? We got the Two of Cups. I'm way okay with that. So this is about alchemy, like the scales. This is about the scales kind of playing off each other. Two hearts to become one. I'm forgetting some two hearts. Two. I can't remember the song. There's some song that I'm not getting the lyrics exactly right because I forget it. But Two of Cups, radiating the pure essence of love, practicing Tantra and Taoist beliefs, which is the yin yang, very Libra. It's like here's a balance of polarities, right? Becoming aware of the cosmic balance, even the word balance, of male and female energy, yin and yang, like I was saying. The Two of Cups, I merge with the beloved, on page 144, no less. The human form carries amazing capacity for blissful expression. Bliss so vast, boundless, and immeasurable, it encompasses every possible word or definition ever invented. Both Tantra and Taoism teach that women and men are gifted the capacity to be multi-orgasmic, riding the waves of energy and pleasure to reach higher and higher peaks. Reaching these peaks allows an opening and surrender to one's true essence, the transcendental self, pure awareness, consciousness, right? The divine. The Two of Cups reveals the beauty and power created when two beings, two threads woven together, unite. The art depicts the lovers in tantric union, dynamic sexual energy supported by the power of intention, conscious surrender, and the skillful use of breath circulating through their bodies, received and given at their sex and their hearts, joins the two in a unified circle of ecstatic color and light, blissfully bursting through them and out and beyond. So it's the one thing experiencing self in polarity and then mashing against itself in a tension and release form. That is the tantra of life. That is the dream, the polarity. I mean, I had this epiphany once before, and it's kind of obvious. Everything is fucking. It's all poles of magnetism, poles of spectrum of light. It's all that. Shiva Shakti, right? That's how it is. That's how it be. So, they sit incongruously next to a high brick wall, a hole in it revealing another reality. One that sits behind what is normally experienced and also a recurrent theme throughout the Starman. In that reality, we see the golden caduceus, spiraling snakes, ancient sacred symbols of rebirth, winding around the staff of Apollo, god of healing. The Ankh adorns the top, the ancient symbol of life, fertility, and the union of male and female gods, Osiris and Isis. earth and sky. Is that balance, that Libra, right? And once again, coming in hot. This is surrounded by the cosmic dance and connectivity of intelligence, the neuron web. At the heart of Tantra lies the idea of awakening Kundalini, a feminine, dynamic energy depicted as a serpent lying dormant at the base of the spine. This energy can be awakened by cultivating sustained sexual energy and circulating it with loving presence, opening to your eternal and spacious nature. Preserving the energy release of the small bodily orgasm, Kundalini is harnessed and shoots up the spine, or the Sushumna, shoots up the spine to the crown of the head where it radiantly explodes as light. That's the Sahasrara chakra. It then showers the body with the healing rain of love, ecstasies of the soul or consciousness. The Two of Cups, reflecting the lovers, invites you not to only look at the potential of sexual union outside in the world, like who are you banging in a sexually explicit way, but also to travel within, to become more consciousness of the dynamic dance, embrace, and play of the inner feminine and masculine energies that shape your life. Because we all have these inner polarities dancing within us. Further, it seeks to make you aware of the potential dynamism and creativity birthed when two or more forces are drawn together, the union of entities or potentialities. These are ideas, talents, abilities, lovers, friendships, etc. This, in essence, is a magical key with which to manifest and live a powerful, radiantly creative life. Who you choose to spend your time with, exchanging ideas, feelings, and energy will either greatly enhance your ability to make this happen or diminish it. Choose wisely, right? Two of Cups, radiating the pure essence of love, practicing Tantra and Taoist beliefs, becoming aware of the cosmic balance of male and female energy. Perfect card for the beginning of Libra season. The balance, the Tao, it howls, the duality that's constant and often and ever pervading at all levels. Let's go ahead and get a Dreams of Gaia card, which I was gifted this deck. I'm really happy. It's always fun when people toss me benevolence in that form. So I wouldn't have bought this, but it was gifted and I loved it. I haven't turned back. The deck I got that is cool, I haven't used. I've got a bunch of decks I haven't used once. Or like I used it once or twice, and I was just like, well, I'm not really resonating. It's nothing against that, just where I'm at. So we've got the Seven of Fire. Pretty cool. Just make sure you guys are getting not there you go. You can kind of see the art better now. Seven of Fire. It's got a bowl with a lotus on it. Already liking the imagery. There's a snake. Just mentioned snakes with Caduceus. Seven of Fire, 247. So hopefully you're all doing well today. I'm curious as to what plans you have for this Libra season. What are your relationships, inner and outer? I was talking inner and outer. What are you going to be doing? So, Seven of Fire. Keywords: divination, signs, heeding your intuition, looking within, seeking answers, discovery, awareness, and trust. Key phrases: heeding your intuition, a feeling of recognition, inexplicable coincidences, synchronicities. Moments that repeat. Personal interpretation is crucial. I was just talking about this with my fiance. We were kind of discussing artificial intelligence and where things go. Our personal interpretations, our opinions, ultimately, our perspectives, totally valid. All is good. Only you know the answer. Only you know your own truth. What is good for you, and you have to be authentic to that, right? Looking beyond the surface and observing and being aware. Meaning, the Seven of Fire represents the development and use of one's intuition to see the way forward and predict possible outcomes. Intuition is that gut feeling. It is an instinctual or unconscious knowing that, when you heed it, can keep you safe from making mistakes and lead you to being in the right place at the right time. And in a weird, abstract way, you're always in the right place at the right time, but there's maybe a spectrum of better times and better places in that sense. It is a feeling of recognition that we often ignore, but if we choose to heed, can have us moving through life in harmonious accord with our surroundings. In actively using and then trusting your intuition on a regular basis, you may find you observe more, and in turn, you learn more. You start to see and take notice of signs and messages along the way. You take notice of those little inexplicable coincidences and moments that keep repeating, and if you heed them, can take you on an adventure of discovery, revealing not only the truths you seek, but also your reason for being. Using and heeding your intuition can lead you to opportunities and experiences that offer the potential to both fulfill you and inspire others. Both sides of the scale. It's all about you, it's all about the others. It's like in equal measure. And sometimes you put a little more weight on, oh, it's my journey, I've got to go in. And sometimes you're like, I've got to do unto others as I would have, it's like, it's both, simultaneity. However, to trust one's intuition requires that you look within and determine what the message means to you personally. That's about interpretation, right? This masculine energy is having a masculine energy experience with flavors of femininity, because that exists in both, poles exist in both, and then the feminine, is receiving. And see what I mean? Like, it's both and simultaneous. What does this mean to you personally? You can ask advice of another. You can seek guidance from another, but only you know your answers. We have pearls of wisdom that we'll come to that aren't maybe accessible codes or keys for others, and we have to be humble enough to say that we have our truth, but I'm not going to squash your truth at the expense of mine or whatever. Like, we have to be kind with our truth, but we also have to be perseverant and authentic with our truths. We can't just like listen to everybody else and go, yeah, that's what I want. Just it's like in Hook, in the movie Hook. They're like, Rufio is the guy. No, Peter Panning is the guy. And they go, they're like very much influenced by the people at hand. They're not like, they don't know what to think. And as a double Gemini, I suffer from this myself quite often. You could seek guidance from another, but only you know your answers. Personal interpretation is key. Haley, how synchronistic is this card, right? Trusting in the knowledge that is stored within your unconscious mind is key. So trust what you know, because you put all the keys, your DNA, your subconscious, all your experiences, they're your map. Don't doubt it, but don't think it's the only map in town. Everybody has their own map, and then we're all on one big map together. Amen. It's this huge dream of Tantra, ultimately. So yeah, you might be a man in this situation, or you might be a woman, but you have to respect that it takes two, baby, and it takes self and other to even have an experience of anything at all, right? Trusting in the knowledge that is stored within your unconscious mind is key. And that's the trick, the unconscious mind, what you're not aware of that you're not aware of. Third parties can offer insight, but they see and understand life through eyes that have been shaped and influenced by their own experiences, not yours. Only you know what something means for you, specifically. Only you know if something is right for you. The Seven of Fire represents the need to actively develop and trust in your intuition and instincts at this time. Look around you, observe, speak to the cards on a regular basis, and honor the truths revealed by going where your intuition leads you. Very resonant. With the moon in Sagittarius, this is your truth. What is your truth? Know your truth. But with Sun in Libra, be balanced and harmonious. And with Mercury, speak your truth kindly. Consider others' opinions. Don't be swayed, right? Stand firm in what you believe, but at the same time, participate well with others. The paradox, Play well with others on the playground, but ultimately you have to make your moves, right? You can't just be like, what do you think? What do you think? And I have a Mars in 12th house, Cancer, so I tend to be very kind of submitted and open to a fault. With the double Gemini situation, 11th house, it's like, oh man, I could just be so open-minded that the wind blows through, and it's like, what do I believe? I don't know. And some of the things I've experienced, Kundalini activations on DMT, talking about my faith with Egyptian deities. That's so why am I still a Christian at some level? That may not translate to anybody else, and I'm okay with that. But at the same time, it's not me running around saying, well, you got to be a Christian. It's like, well, you're going to do what you do, and we're all in this dance together, huzzah. But everybody has to find their truth. That's the whole point of being in time, space, in a matter, whatever this dream ultimately is an initiation, right? And we're being initiated into our own power, our own truth, Sagittarius moon. But we have to play well with others. It includes other, outside of yourself, which is ultimately, there's no outside of yourself. It's this huge paradox. But you see my point, hopefully. Mental transformation, Sirius, future timeline. Perfect. With the Sun in Libra and and Mercury in Libra, we have a chance to come into balance and harmony with new perceptions of beauty, truth, balance, all that jazz. And with the Moon in Sag, it's like, what is your emotional truth subconsciously? What are you being driven by? Maybe we could transform this. Sirius, number 94, mental transformation, future timeline. Beliefs, so what you think. Habits and mental attachments cause most of the distress we experience as humans. With the South Node at Sag and the Moon at Sag, we might be getting emotionally ratcheted over opinions we have, and we have to just kind of hold on loosely. I was talking to Haley today. It's like, it's great. Everybody has their opinion. That's fine. And even confidence is good, but certainty is an illusion, right? Oh my gosh, my phone is going to die, so that might be problematic. Facebook might go out soon, but this is getting taped onto YouTube, so I'll try to hurry. Yeah, I'm not totally distracted me. Here we go. Sometimes we don't even realize we have them, i.e. biases and attachments, habits of thought, habits of heart. Now that we are making a planetary transition, it requires us to let go of these obstacles to true awakening. Our future serious friends who have released these obstacles can help us with this because they provide loving guidance to help us navigate this transition. This card asks you to be truthful about your limiting beliefs and habits, even the positive ones, even the things you feel good about, can be limiting, and open yourself to new and flexible ways of thought and being. It goes right in line with the other cards. This card accesses energy from the Sirian era after they became an awakened species and it transcended to a non-physical fifth density state. The Sirians from this era are a great model for humans because when they were young, their species had many of the same challenges that plague humans now. One of these challenges is that humans are often their own worst enemies because of their destructive thought patterns that continually sabotage spiritual growth and transformation of the planet. We are the enemy. We've met the enemy is us. When the Syrians were able to transcend their destructive mental patterns, third eye day, get out of your head and get into your heart, right? The wisdom of the third eye there. When they were transcend these mental patterns, they were able to make a planetary transition with ease. If this card is in your spread, look to the other cards, and as well as your life circumstances for future clues. The meaning may have to do with a needed transformation that must take place in your thought and belief patterns, which is very bizarre. What are your beliefs? What do you think you believe? What do you think you know? Why do you believe these things? Patterns in order for you to make a shift. Conversely, the card may be acknowledging that you have made this shift and are ready to move into a new level of growth. Self-honesty will be needed in order to know which of these options or another is accurate. It's quite possible that guides from Sirius are working with you in your growth. If you feel this is the case, open yourself even more to the wisdom that they can share with you. Do not fear this change, for freedom always comes from this type of mental transformation. It's just like V for Vendetta. She was in the prison, she's freaking out, she's writing letters on toilet paper, all this kind of stuff, and then she's like, oh shit, the door's open. Her beliefs had constricted her, and she had this crazy experience in catharsis and alchemy, and then she punctuated and went out to a new place, but she herself had changed. Even though the environment had never really changed, her perception of the environment had changed. Let's get an Animal Oracle card. Dear God, I hope this doesn't die. I'm wondering if I should be attempting to, like, get it. Let me see something. Can I even... No. No, I've just got to hope to God this works. And I might have to do a part 2 from my other phone, or something. Derp. I forgot to charge this one phone, and it's biting me in the ass. Karma. Instant karma. So, for Animal Oracle card, we've got the Shark. Purpose. Right? We do have a purpose. It's here to be in the dream and participate in it. Taoist kind of alchemy, right? But we're also here, our purpose is to be authentic selves who operate from a place of knowing. Just hold on loosely to that knowing. Be open to changes of that transformation. Like you know here. There's all sorts of types of knowledge. Don't get in your own way with your beliefs to such a degree that you box yourself in and you don't see other ways out. Right? That's the trap of logic. Trust me, as a mental person, a double Gemini, I've suffered from that. Purpose, we have it, Shark. So, number 36. I've never felt so under the gun. As long as if it dies before I play a song or something, that's fine. But I just want to get the cards out. 36. Shark. Purpose. You are perfectly formed to be who you were born to be. Once again, it's all good. There's nothing. We've come into a process in a place of time and matter and growth. You're gestating. You're fucking and going back and forth in dominant sub roles. Yay. It's all good. You're here to become who you are. That's the purpose of this dream, right? And to transform mentally. Your beliefs. It's like Neo didn't think he was the one. He even had the Oracle saying you're not the one because that's what his beliefs allowed him to perceive, essentially. And then he went through the motions in a different way and he's beginning to believe. He's changing his mental body. He was transforming his opinions and his perspective. He was always the one. We're always in Christ consciousness. It's all good, but we have to change our perspective on that because sometimes we're like, oh my God, and we identify with the suffering, we identify with the attachment, we identify with the process, and we have to identify loosely. It has a purpose. It has a purpose of becoming. You are perfectly formed to be who you were born to be. It's all good. Don't sweat it. Enjoy the fucking ride, right? There is great power in keeping your focus. Procrastination is just another kind of fear. Oof, heard. So keep moving forward. You're protected in a difficult task. Mythos. The people of Polynesia had a very different relationship to sharks than most other cultures. Rather than being the object of horror and fear, sharks were honored for their power and purpose and were seen as gods or Aumakua who could be protective. The shark god, Kealaakua Okau, was the cousin of Kaumaolahai'i, I'm butchering these Polynesian names, and the great fire goddess Pele. He was a powerful god but quite a lonely one. He used to swim close to the shore and become friendly with the human people there, the Ka'u. Kealika'u would watch the people swim and fish and watch the sun set with its many colors, and it was during one such time that he saw a human woman whom he felt was very beautiful. He got her attention and her trust, and they both fell in love. She fell pregnant with the Kealakau, and when her time came, she birthed the magic green shark. The son joined the Kealakau in the sea and would help his mother and her people whenever they went fishing or as a protection from when they traveled. In Hawaiian culture, animals can be family's aumakua, a kind of protective spiritual guardian. This is a form of reincarnation of a family member after death, as they could transform into aumakua and an aumakua animal. Some families had sharks as their aumakua, and these families would never fear sharks, knowing that their ancestor was still alive, but in shark form. And then there's a bunch of gods of Hawaii attributing to shark gods, and I won't go through that list because I'll butcher the names. The animal. Sharks are highly specialized fish that have evolved to be the apex predator in their habitat. Shark teeth are embedded in the flesh around the jaw, not within the jaw itself, and the teeth are constantly regrown as needed. Their sense of smell is incredible. They can sniff out 1 part of blood in 1,000,000 parts seawater. Their sense of hearing is also acute, being able to detect sounds emanating from many kilometers away. Sharks have a special lateral line down their side of their bodies that are tuned to tiny vibrations and movements in the water, which help them recognize prey that might be slow or struggling in the water. They also have a special organ, the ampullae of Lorenzini, that picks up electrical signals and makes them most electrically sensitive of all animals. We were just talking about Echo the dolphin and dolphins' electromagnetic kind of ability to see, and John Lilly and DMT and all sorts of weird stuff in the podcast yesterday on Team Rabbit Hole. I'll put it in the comments. It's great. You should check it out. Andreas Exertus is one of my favorite Pisces guests. He's hilariously interesting. So we were kind of talking about this anyway yesterday. This is key for catching prey and in navigation. The latter because the Earth gives off electromagnetic impulses that are dependent upon the position of the planet. Some sharks are even more specialized in their evolution. For example, the hammerhead shark. The silhouette is unmistakable. There's nothing that looks quite like a hammerhead. The eyes of a hammerhead are placed on the edges of the head wings, which gives them extensive visual width, very handy as the hammerhead scans the sea and sandy bottom for food. Hammerhead sharks are viviparous and do not lay eggs. Pups grow inside the female shark. This is as for land-based mammals and is quite unusual. However, the mother gives birth to around 25 to 50 live pups at one time, and they are born with their eye wings folded back. Weird, but kind of cute. Other species of sharks lay eggs, so they're the only ones who give live birth. The magic. Sharks are magnificent creatures built for purpose. They are focused on their job as a predator and are exquisitely fine-tuned to do this. Every sense is supercharged. Every move is purposeful. Use your shark magic when you want to find purpose and your focus again. Perhaps you're procrastinating or simply think you cannot finish a project, so call on the energy of the shark to keep your eyes on the prize. Symbols: dorsal fin out of water, shark tail, shark teeth, and jaws. Status: ranges from critically endangered to threatened. The practice of shark finning and shark as a bycatch are huge issues. We actually do not know enough about some species to be able to know their numbers and how effective they are, right? So this is kind of tapping into two things. A, the moon in Sagittarius, and also very much this 7 of fire card, where it's like you have a purpose, don't even swerve. But B, kind of the shadow of Libra Sun, Libra Mercury is like, and maybe the shadow of this, don't be codependent to the point where you don't know how to be yourself, right? Stand up for your decisions. Make mental transformation where you're like, you need others, but you need to be you in the alchemy. Like, you can't just be so adaptive that you don't stand for anything, right? Like, this guy isn't like, well, I'll be a woman or a man. It's like, well, I'm a woman. I'm just pointing to people I don't even know what they are. I'll be positive, you be negative. It's like, well, I'm both. And it's like, sure, at some fractal level, you're both. But it's like, we need, for this alchemy, for you to be one or the other. Be decisive. The shadow of Libra is to not be purposeful in that they're like, well, I don't know. You want a red pill or blue pill, Neo? And they're like, and they kind of don't know where to go with it, right? So make sure you're not tapping into that. Be tapping into your purpose, your heart, but don't be tapping into your heart so much that you fuck everybody over because you're right and you know and all this stuff. Like, that's not a good look. Trust me. So let's go ahead and get an art oracle and a crystal, and hopefully I can play a song before this thing shuts down. We've got Ray and Charles Eames. So even more Libra balance scales. This looks like the Libra scales in a weird way. It's balanced, perfectly symmetrical. He actually, I think, has my birthday, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong about that. But I'm pretty sure he's a Gemini. So Ray and Charles Eames, balance, tantra, even in their life, professional man and woman, Taoist kind of reality, and they were being passionate, different, changing people's mental attitudes, right, with their purpose and their art and their constructions, which I will now read upon. Ray and Charles Eames. Charles and Ray were the power couple. Tantra, right, 2 of Cups, were the power couple of mid-century architecture, furniture, and industrial design. In the 40s, they were put experimentation toward the war effort, experimenting, right, playing with mental constructs. and expectations. They put experimentation toward the war effort, supplying soldiers with groundbreaking items such as a molded plywood leg splints. They later applied such new technology toward their now legendary furniture. The Eameses were joy pushers, emphasizing the importance of play and color in otherwise serious modern age. Very Moon and Sag. It's like, let's bring some fun to this. Let's bring some joy. Let's be expressive and excessive with that heart. Their experimental, very lived in home and studio, now California landmark, embodied their ethos of pleasure with a purpose. Pleasure with a purpose. Both and. Oh my god. Pleasure. Guys, can you even make this shit up? Pleasure, tantra, sex with a purpose. Shark. Purpose. You have a self to be, so be that self. Ray was Ray. Charles was Charles. They did their thing. They changed minds in their own relationship, probably, and in the world around them. So the advice we're getting from Ray and Charles Eames is be unbending in your flexibility. Very appropriate, Haley. That's kind of what I was trying to get at during that conversation, I guess. Be unbending in your flexibility. Just like a caduceus has the serpents winding up, and if you watch snakes have sex, it's very firm in the flexibility, you could say. Be unbending in your Taoist. Be unbending in your copulation with the reality, whether you're receiving or giving. Right? Be unbending in your willingness to adapt. Be unbending in yourself, where you have an operating self, but hold on loosely. That's that flexibility, right? Be willing to change your mental attitude. Be willing to change your models and beliefs. Be willing to hold on loosely to expectations, however good or bad they may be. Whether it's Shambhala or we're entering the Matrix and we're going to plug in and here comes a nihilistic fucking solar failure eventually, or whatever. Be flexible, right? But we do have a purpose. So be resilient, but be open sourced, right? Like be adaptive, but be established. It's a paradox. It's Libra season, folks. And even this Libra kind of looking scale is saying this power couple, right? They're male and female. And you can't, male and female. Be unbending in your flexibility. That is the best way to be. If you're adaptive, you can have an opinion, but it can change. And if you're not adaptive, you've already lost. So it's about being flexible, right? So the stone we're getting today is this one. Oh my gosh, am I going to be able to complete this? Sugarlite. Sugilite. I don't know how to pronounce this. So we can quantumly entangle with this. We don't have to actually own this. You can just check it out, right? Oh my, this is always synchronistic. I get high on this shit. What it is, vibrant purple, electric magenta, void black. The surface of sugarlite, or sugarlite, I'm not sure how to say this. I'll just say shug, because why not? Sugar. Sugarlite calls forth otherworldly realms, dreamy, extraterrestrial, psychedelic. And its illuminating energy encourages you to leave behind reality and visit those far-off regions. Like here they are doing their thing, and back here is this sugarlite region. It's already psychedelic and colorful, but it's like there's another world behind the veil. Ooh. Multidimensionality, aliens, psychedelic, trips, whatever. Epiphany. Who needs it? Anyone planning an escape from the confines of space and time. Where to put it? Wherever you dream, meditate, or grow your light. When to use it? When you're called to take your spiritual practice to another level. It's easy to stay stuck in something that isn't working. There's a comfort to safe and status quo. But there's an unknown out there with unlimited blissed out possibilities. Ask Sugarlight to light the way there. Stretch the limits of your imagination. So you need to have an imagination and a heart to even operate this thing. But hey, guess what? Mental transformation. Stretch that shit. Be willing to be like, hey, I'm this awkward guy and I've never had a girlfriend. Oh my gosh, we can have tantra. Oh my girl, and I've always dreamed of a white picket fence and a dog. But it's like right now we're just like doing this thing. Stretch your imagination. Be bigger. They were more powerful together than they were separate. Though they had separate selves. He liked his coffee black. She likes green tea in the morning and not coffee. Whatever, right? This is talking about stretching the limits of your imagination. Be unbending in your mental and spiritual flexibility. That's part of what surviving an apocalypse is. But know that there's a purpose to all that. The more stretchable we are, the more adaptive we are, the more possibilities can actually occur. That's why if you take primary colors, it's pretty rigid. If you start doing combinations, stretching the possibilities, you get many colors. And all of a sudden you have the full spectrum of like pure black to pure white and everything in between, right? So we have a purpose. Tap into this Sugarlight, stretch the limits of your imagination. I do not know if I will have time to do this because I feel like the computer, or my phone rather, is about to shut down. But I'm going to play a song by Neil Young off of an album called Harvest. which is very apropos for the season we're in. It's harvest season, Libra season. And I say that, I'm like, is it Libra or Virgo? And can we get it quickly? Yes. Oh my gosh, 10%? Okay, I'll probably still be able to get it. But this phone might just die any moment, so you know why it does if it does. Heart of Gold, Neil Young. This is what we're searching for. How do we get through it? What are we doing in Tantra? What are we doing by stretching our mental capacities? We're always in the heart of God. To tap into that ultimately is the gift of being. So let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Oh my gosh, there's a harmonica which I don't have. So anyway. I want to live. I want to give. I've been a miner for a heart of gold. It's these expressions I never give. Keeps me searching for a heart of gold. And I'm getting old. Keep me searching for a heart of gold. And I'm getting old. I've been to Hollywood. I've been to Redwood. I've crossed the ocean for a heart of gold. I've been my mind. It's such a fine line. Keeps me searching for the heart of gold. And I'm getting old. Keeps me searching for the heart of gold. And I'm getting old. Keep me searching for a heart of gold. You keep me searching and I'm growing old. Keep me searching for a heart of gold. I've been a miner for a heart of gold. Or something. I'm like panicked trying to get this out before it dies. So, heart of gold. I mean, that's what the love is all about. We're here to be love conduits, experiencing life through polarity. That's the heart of gold. You know, we are only as old as we believe we are. Follow your heart. Heart, 7, Sagittarius moon, 7 of fire, right? 7, yeah, of fire. That heart is going to change. You know, I've been to Hollywood, I've been to Redwood, Libra, Sun, and Mercury. I've been to both sides of the coin, right? I've changed my perspective. City life is cool. Oh my gosh, being a hippie, hugging trees in the redwoods, cool, right? But the purpose of this journey is to love. We're by through and for love. We're by through and for grace. We're here to experience the variety of the flavors of good love, bad love, weird love, perfect love, whatever. It's all good, right? That's the purpose. That's the heart of gold that you're searching for. The gold that's always been there, that you've chosen to forget, that you're digging for, that's always there. Rand Charles Eames are telling us to be unbending in our flexibility. I've spent my life digging for the gold. Like, I'm unflinching in that shit. I'm committed, right? They're committed to each other. The balance scales. One doesn't just disappear. It's like, oh, we are in relation to each other. We are in relation to each other within, as within, so without. You have a mental or a masculine and a feminine aspect of yourself that you are committed to, and there's a replete variations of that externally as well. And then sugarlight or sugalite, I'm not really sure how to pronounce this. Stretch the limits of your imagination, right? Just like Neil Young saying, I've gone over the world, I've checked it all out, I pushed my boundaries, I pushed my limits, I changed my mental constructs, I pursued this in all sorts of places. And it was always there, that heart of gold, that behind the scenes thing. But that's what's driving the polarity engine of consciousness that we see as 3D duality, whatever, amen. So hopefully that resonates. I've somehow got it done. No podcast right now, but the last one we had was with Andreas Exertus. Check it out. I'll post it in the comments. Really fascinating conversation talking about AI and Echo the Dolphin and psychedelics and Replica, this chatbot, and all sorts of things, right? Pepe and Keck and Chaos Magic and the Tao and all sorts of things. Like, it's a very Team Rabbit Hole episode. Check it out. If you want a reading, I love giving them. You'll love getting it. 5-star reviews only. Huzzah to that. Untarnished record. Somehow I'm doing my job in the dream. So I'll give it to you right, and holler for those readings. Either astrology chart, always fun. Takes about 2 hours, sometimes 3. Or cards. I pull all sorts of cards, and we talk about where you're at, where what's popping, and you'll get your own version of this kind of reading. So holler if you feel so inclined. If this has resonated in any way, tag people, let them know what's going on. Share it, for fuck's sake, who knows? And always enjoy the ride. Bottom line, guys, it's a dream of becoming. We're becoming together. We're becoming as individuals, quote unquote, with ourselves, copulating higher and higher, and we're copulating with each other. It's all Shiva Shakti, all the way up. Follow your heart. Be true to yourself. Be authentic. But be willing and discerning enough to know that everything you believe might not be, all that glitters is not gold. Is a heart of gold. It's like, there's careful. And it's all good, though, because sometimes you find fool's gold and you have to learn through that experience, right? It has a purpose. You have a purpose. It's all good. Try to be unbending in your flexibility. That is the Wu Wei path. That's the Taoist path. It's the hexagrams of the I Ching. It's balancing on the biggest wave as the wave appears as it is, right? You sometimes find yourself in crazy surf. Deal with it. You sometimes find yourself in totally calm waters. Deal with it. It is what it is, where you are, and where you are is where you're meant to be. There's a purpose behind everything. Never doubt that. It's all in the dream, beholding itself, dancing with itself, dancing with myself. We're all dancing with ourselves collectively. It's beautiful. What a weird trip, huh? Stretch the limits of your imagination. Trust me, it'll do you a bunch of good. That's one of the benefits of Disney. It's like Imagineering. Think of yourself as a co-creator, Imagineering through multiplicity of ways, and you are telling yourself a story while you're writing it. It's never-ending story style. You're reading it and you're being it. Holy tits. Enjoy the fucking ride, and I'll talk